So everybody's talking about these couple of new videos that Rick Beato has posted on his YouTube channel the last couple of days about how music has gotten worse and how music has gotten devalued to the point where to most people it doesn't really mean anything, and how easy it is to create music these days, and this whole idea of how uh, popular music, right? Popular music is way worse than it's ever been, and it's created quickly and cheaply and all that sort of thing. And a lot of people discussing, a lot of people have watched these videos, millions of people have watched these videos. Rick even did his second video kind of explaining himself from the first video, and how he's, doesn't want to come across as like the old guy complaining about the way things are today. And so many people I've seen on Facebook and social media debating, his video, what he talks about in these videos, and this whole thing about, you know, music today sucks and whatnot. And if you really listen to his videos, these two specifically, he's not actually saying that music in general is no good today. Uh, he's basically talking quite a bit about the listening habits of people. And again, it depends on, and I see it all the time here on Sea of Tranquility, people who comment and come to the channel about how people digest music, in what formats, and how much a part of or not a part of their lives that music is to so many people. And I agree with him. To so many people, music is just something that's there. It's not really worth anything. It's something we have at our disposal. And basically, you have a Spotify account, right? I don't do Spotify personally, but if you have a Spotify account, you got access to all this stuff. These are for people who don't want to collect music. They don't want to have physical things anymore. And it's like, the art of owning something doesn't really matter to me. It's just when I want to hear something, I have it, and just go through, and it's there, right? That's fine. There's not everybody has to be like me, who collects and has been collecting music, and whether it be albums or now CDs or cassettes or whatever it might be. To me, I like to own. I pay money for it. I own it. I always have it. My internet goes down, I can still listen to music, right? I don't have to worry about Spotify, or maybe I've got something really rare that's not on Spotify, or whatever. Um, but this whole idea of what's really popular today, and I'm talking really popular, meaning like what you see the record labels pushing, what you see uh, artists and bands that get nominated for awards, video music awards, Grammys, all that sort of nonsense, right? That's what we're talking about, the popular stuff, right? Um, there's like so much more than that. They're pumping out this stuff to appeal to the masses who just will latch onto a song or two, but there's not a lot of like band or artist loyalty, I think, for a lot of these more popular, and a lot of these popular artists are more personalities than they are like hardcore musicians, I think. At least that's my perception. But there's so many, and Rick alludes to this in his video, there are so many great younger, not even really younger, but bands out there who aren't signed to major labels, who aren't get promoted on satellite radio, and who aren't getting featured on actual radio, aren't getting nominated for awards. They're not like high up there on the playlist on Spotify or the YouTube streams. And streaming has done a weird thing now, because now you have this whole social media craze that we've been in for so many years. It's throwing information, whether it be music or movies or TV shows or video games or what have you, everything. There's just so much of it. It's all within a click, whether it's on your phone or your tablet. And it's like, yeah, okay, I don't like that. I don't know, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look interesting. All right, oh yeah, I'll listen to that. After 10 seconds, yeah, I'll move on to the next one. And we live in this world now where everything is like, we don't have the attention span for anything for long, but we want to consume as much as we can. So, like how many people, I see people who like have Instagram accounts, and they're just swiping. So, oh, okay, I'll watch a little bit of that. Swipe. Oh, I'll watch a little bit of that. So it's just, and really, we're not digesting much of anything. It's like, how many people now don't watch broadcast TV anymore because they can't sit through commercials, or it's like, it's a half-hour program. It's like I want to be able to watch something in small chunks, right? Everything is about little bits and pieces. And I know from, we struggle here on Sea of Tranquility, like on Wednesdays, new review day on the channel, right? I'm reviewing new albums by newer bands, veteran bands, legendary bands, right? All sorts of different genres. Most of what we talk about is not mass appeal stuff. And we struggle to get people to watch these videos because they would rather hear me talk about Led Zeppelin, Van Halen, Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Yes, Genesis, the same old bands over and over and over again. And so, for the older crowd, that's the stuff they know, right? They may not listen to a lot of the newer bands, so they just want to hear about the stuff that they already know about. I know these bands, I love these bands, I want to hear Pete talk about them all the time because that's what I know, it's my wheelhouse. I don't want to hear about the 30-year-old band from Norway who's playing progressive rock that sounds like the 70s stuff, or heavy metal that sounds like the 80s stuff. I don't have time for that. I only know the bands that I know and love. So, and then for the younger folks who maybe weren't born when the Zeppelins were around, the Doors were around, the Stones, and all those legendary bands, everything is just new to them, but there's so much of it. There's no band or artist loyalty. It's all about songs, it's all about the cool videos, and it's like there's no about waiting for a next album from something you listened to 6 months ago. There's really, it's not all about that. It's all about, I can tell because, like, I see comments from people when we post these new album reviews and like, yeah, I gave that album a quick spin on Spotify, it didn't grab me, I've moved on. And it's like, well, how much can you really appreciate or understand or digest about an album with a quick little spin on Spotify? Because what does that really mean? Does that mean you listen to 20 or 30 seconds of each track and just moved on? Right? Did you give the whole thing a straight run through, right? And Rick said something very, very key. When we were younger, Rick is only a couple of years older than me, we spent whatever money we could get a hold of, allowance money, paper delivery money, whatever, mowing grass money, shoveling driveways, whatever it was, we would go buy a record. And we would spend lots of time with that. We would listen to it over and over and over again. And, maybe not all of them grabbed us right off the bat, but we didn't have a lot of them. So we gave them more time. What happens when you have more of things? You spend less time with each one of them. Right? So nowadays, people who aren't buying physical media, they just are relying on streaming services and whatnot. You have so much at your disposal. I don't have time to spend. If something doesn't hit me immediately, I don't have the time. I have a busy lifestyle. I'm going to move on to the next thing. And how many moving on to the next things happen in the span of a week or a month? Probably a lot, right? Probably a lot. But maybe, if everybody spent a little bit more time on just a select few things, maybe you'd find more current bands, albums, songs more appealing because we're giving it time to sink in. So I think that, and this whole idea of like the technology is to a point where you really don't have to have a lot of creativity to create music that people will listen to. I think that's true too. I think the old days of just plugging in a guitar into an amplifier, a bass into an amp, and sitting on a set of drums with someone up with a microphone and just playing brand new song that you came up with without retweaking in a million ways and using all this AI stuff to, let's add this in here, let's add that in here. It's creating music with different means by different types of technology. There was always technology. There's always technology happening all throughout music history. But I think the true essence of creating honest music, original music, is harder nowadays, because there's so much temptation to use the technology to make things sound the way we want it without it actually coming from, playing and whatnot. I don't know, it's an interesting topic, and I've seen lots of people arguing on social media about Rick's viewpoints, and I don't know, you can take it a million different ways, because like I said, there's a million different viewpoints on it, there's a million different albums and songs and bands, and he also that shows all these charts about how over the last 10 years, like consumption of a lot of different music genres and things, and even like media in general, is way down because there's so much of it. So nothing rises to the top because people are just consuming social media. They're not actually consuming the little media bits that make that up. So if that makes any sense. So instead of people spending time listening to music, reading books, watching movies or TV shows, playing video games, whatever it might be, people are watching social media posts about all these things and not really spending time on any of it because it's just going by quick. I don't know. It's like, it's funny because I have, like, one of my grandsons, he loves watching YouTube videos of people showing people playing video games. He used to, when he was a little bit younger, he's still young, he used to love playing video games. Now he doesn't play as much video games as much as he does watching other people play video games. That doesn't make any sense to me. Just doesn't make any sense to me. That would be like me saying, who loves to read books, watching someone in a video spend 2-3 minutes telling you the entire plot of a book, and then me not having to read the book. Where's the fun in that, right? So I love why we review music on this channel, is so hopefully people get intrigued enough to then go out and experience the music themselves. We're just here as the conduit to hopefully push you in the direction to go and explore some of these art forms, right? Whether it be music or books or movies or what have you. So yeah, we're in a weird time where it's like music, books, movies, television, it's all like commodity. There's just so much of it out there, and there's so many ways to consume it quickly, and it's so easy just to move on from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, that I don't know how many people really spend too much time on anything anymore, I mean, I'm not a streamer guy, right, at all, other than using YouTube as a way to kind of, re-listen to things that we're going to talk about on the channel, what have you. I don't have a Spotify account, but I know, like, my wife's got a Spotify account. She loves it because she's not really much of a collector. She doesn't really follow a lot of bands and artists, right? To her, it's more about songs that she likes. She's not an album person. So for her, Spotify for $10 a month is totally worth it. And I get it. There's lots of people like that. Not everybody's like me, so I totally understand that. But like sometimes we'll be outside, maybe hanging out by the pool or whatever, and she'll hook up Spotify to the speaker, and she'll be like, "Oh, what band do you want to listen to?" And I'll be like, "All right, let's listen to Styx, because they're one of the few bands we can agree on, right?" So she tells, whatever, to play songs from Styx or Alexa or whatever, Spotify, Alexa, whatever. And it's like, what do you get? You only get the hits. So you'll get Babe, then you'll get Come Sail Away, then you'll get Too Much Time on My Hands, then you'll get Blue Collar Man, then you'll get Renegade, then you'll get The Best of Time. And no matter how many times you do this, that's always what comes up. And it's like, well, I want to hear Man of Miracles. I want to hear Snowblind. You're not going to get that. So no matter what band she picks that we kind of have in common, all I'm going to get assaulted with, regardless, is all of the popular stuff, right? Which, to her is fine. To me, I've heard all that stuff a million times. I want to hear some of the deeper cuts. I want to hear the albums, quite frankly. And you can do that. But with a lot of people, they don't want to hear albums, right? So then there's that difference, right? They want to hear just the songs they know. So yeah, we live in a weird world. I think Rick, who I respect a lot, I think he has said a lot of great things, made a lot of great comparisons and great points, using data points to parlay this whole message that music is in a weird place, technology maybe is not helping matters all that much, and that our listening habits in general have changed drastically. And unfortunately for the music industry, that's not really a good thing, because I know a lot of musicians and bands are struggling now and creating music, spending time and money to create music that they're never really going to recoup any of that time and expense on. And that's a real shame, because there's a lot of really talented bands out there, regardless of the genre, who are making great new music that just people aren't hearing or not giving a chance. So this is me urging folks who are watching this channel, we love the classics, we do. But please don't disregard some of the newer music. I wouldn't be spending so much time and effort week after week, month after month, year after year, talking about so much new music if I didn't feel really strongly about it. You guys know I'm in this for the bands, all right? That's why I do this. I'm in it for the bands and for you guys to hopefully get your eyes and ears open to new stuff that you will appreciate, like I do every day. So, thanks for watching.